Today I'm going to share 5 things that have really impacted me for the better. These things really change the trajectory of how I think and how I live. And none of these have to do with weight loss or nutrition or exercise. But I'm sharing these because when I work with women, it almost always comes back to these deeper things of how we think, how we feel, these core beliefs that we have. So sometimes it's not that clients don't know what to eat, or that they don't know that they should move their body or they should take more steps. It's really their thoughts, their mindset, their emotions that gets in the way. And honestly, these are the things nobody wants to work on. But this is usually where the real shifts happen. So I'm going to be sharing these 5 things that more have to do with this mindset, emotional growth, thought work, just growing as a person that have really changed me and changed my life and how I process and work through things.
Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving.
A lot of times I don't think we change because it's the easy thing to do. There's usually something that happens in our life that cracks us open. And about 15 years ago, I had one of those moments. Within 48 hours, I found out I was pregnant with my second child, that my husband was going to be deploying for a year and miss half of the baby's life, and my brother-in-law committed suicide, all within 48 hours. That was a really hard moment. That was a really hard season. But what grew out of that is one of those things that really started to change this trajectory of my mindset and how I think and process things. So this first thing that changed was during that time. One of my military friends that I had met, she didn't live by me, but we had met before and kept in touch. As I was talking to her on the phone, she recommended this book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And it was a really old book. It was really meant for more businessmen, if I remember right. But it started me on this path of noticing my thoughts and what I was thinking. Because a lot of my thoughts were negative. They weren't good. And that just leads us to spiral. So the belief that I could start to change some of my thoughts, or at least 1 or 2 of them, and I could change the way I looked at it. And so after a couple weeks of this settling in and getting through my brother-in-law's funeral, and knowing that I only had a couple months left before my husband left, we were able to really just enjoy that time and take advantage of it. And even while he was gone for the year, I went back and moved in with my parents. But that wasn't really a super hard time. I enjoyed that time that I was there with my parents and around my family. And I really made the best of it. Did I have some hard times? Yes. Was it especially hard after I had a newborn baby and was taking care of it myself? Yes. Did I cry? Yes. But most of the time, I was able to notice what I was grateful for and see the good things and still enjoy it. Now, that book I wouldn't necessarily recommend reading because it's not the best geared for women, but it just started this trajectory. There's so many other better mindset books or really podcasts out that can really help with this mindset piece and to see how you're thinking. But this was really the start of this new way of thinking for me. And what sort of went along, so that is my first thing that really changed, was this book about mindset and positive thinking. And about the same time this happened, what also changed was just this really growth in my prayer and my faith. So I think that is also what got me through that really hard time of being slammed with those things all at once. Because for some of us, when we go through a really hard time, we either turn towards our faith or away. And for me, I turned towards it. And I found that when I sought God, I found in more peace. My circumstances didn't change. But since I was able to pray and trust in God more, it gave me peace. There's actually research showing how prayer can calm our nervous system and lower our stress hormones. So we can get to more of that calming nervous system by prayer. And I think meditation works in a similar way. So for me, having my faith, it really was able to ground me and keep all those thoughts in the big picture in check. The third tool was I went to an EMDR therapist. And this is sort of a somatic tool in therapy that people can use. So somatic meaning body. So it's eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing therapy. And it really helped me to process the memories that felt stuck. So especially if someone has been through trauma or has trauma sort of stored in their body, it can really help to make you feel safe in your body, to really be able to process those memories so you're not stuck on them, to react less, and to really separate the past from the present. So it wasn't dramatic, it was steady progress, but it really gave me a sense of calm, and it really showed me how I could change these thoughts that were stuck with me for so long and to really be free of them. So it was quite a process. And I didn't rush through it, but it really had a big impact. So especially if someone is stuck with something that happened to them, it can really be a powerful therapy. And I would also, when you're, just a little side note, when you're looking at therapists, you might want to see if the person is credentialed in it, because someone can have experience with it, like meaning they go to a weekend course or something about it, versus going through I don't know the length for it, maybe like a year-long process for EMDR. So someone who has gone through the longer certification will be able to work with it better. So the fourth thing that really helped me was becoming an EFT/tapping coach. And again, sort of like the EMDR, I went through this full year-long certification, because also with EFT or tapping, you can get like these really quick certifications, but they're just not going to be as thorough. So I was really raised in this, like, have a positive mindset, push through, it's not that bad, stuff it down, don't cry, be strong. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And so that's really where a lot of my anxiety stems from, because when we stuff emotions down, they don't disappear. They're going to leak out, they're going to build up, and then we feel like we can't share them. So learning how to use EFT with clients like you guys out there, but also with myself, has really been a game changer. So now I have started to learn pieces about mindset and my thoughts, really just becoming more aware, growing in my prayer, being able to process some things, but having the tools to process emotions in real time has been so helpful. So the last couple weeks, it's probably more been like 3. We've just had a lot going in on our house with my husband's job. He was super busy, and then kids making different homeschool school decisions and like figuring out how things work here in Oklahoma, and preparing for a trip and a few other things. Like, it has just been a lot, and it's just life. And I've had a lot of emotions come up, but I've had this tool of EFT to help me process those emotions so that they don't get stuck. So even though my first instinct will still be to shove down a feeling or ignore it if it's not strong enough, I now have this tool that I can start using, and I can start to tap through those emotions and process them, see what thoughts I have going with those emotions, like what's true, what's not true, what am I missing? So I am so grateful for this tool. I started using EFT personally, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. So I used it first before I got certified, because we had a event in my extended family that was going on that was very stressful and sad and scary and lots of different feelings and some grief in there too. So I had read it in a book, so I didn't do it the full clinical way that I'm doing now. But even then, just going through that process, it gave me this tool of how to let my emotions out and to feel them. And so after that experience, I then found out how I could get certified and went through it even deeper and learned even more about it and there's different tools within EFT that I can use too. And the last tool that has been super helpful is just having a coach myself and having that support for myself. Because even though I have a lot of these tools now, you just can't beat having a real person there. So I have group coaching that I will go to sometimes. So I just pay this person. She is a Catholic homeschool mom, parent, life coach that I go to. So it's a group coaching, so you can come and go as you want. So I go when I need it. I also have a friend that I went through the EFT certification with that me and her swap. So I will have sessions with her where I get to work on things. So having that other person there is really key, because sometimes I'll work on something and still be a little stuck, even though I know all these tools, because sometimes someone else can hear something or call out something in us or know us so well that they can speak truth to us. So having some type of coach or support has really been key from getting unstuck. My coach and my EFT coach that I swap with, they can just ask really good questions when I'm not thinking of that question myself. Like, what am I making this mean? What am I believing right now? Is this belief serving me? What part of this truth am I missing? So having that support really helps to support me when time gets tough, when life does add up, when we get all these stressors at once. So growth isn't always this one-time big change. It really has come in layers for me over the last 15 years. So none of these things were quick fixes. They were tools, and tools that would work if I used them. So mindset, prayer, therapy, EFT, coaching, each one helped me move from reacting to responding. Each one of them added a new layer on. So no longer was I stuffing my emotions, but I was starting to process them. So if you're in a hard season right now, I want you to hear this. You don't have to have it all figured out, but you probably do need some support. Growth rarely happens alone. Sometimes it starts with a book. Sometimes it's with a prayer. Sometimes it's with therapy, and sometimes it's with coaching. But it always starts when you decide, I don't want to stay here. And I encourage you, if you want help working through your thoughts, emotions, or patterns, that's what I do. And you don't have to wait for life to crack open for you to start. So if you know you can use some extra support with your mindset, maybe you don't like the way your thinking is, or the habits that you have, or how your emotions lead you to stress eat, or your emotions just feel out of control, or you notice when anything hard or stressful comes up, life just spins out of control for you. Well, I'd be happy to start sharing some of these tools with you so that you have a toolbox to help you get through these harder times in life and these places just where you're feeling stuck. There's so much freedom and growth when we start having tools to work with our emotions and our mindset and our thoughts. All right, friends, so if that's you, check the link down below to set up a free call with me. We can figure out if we are a fit for each other. And I always offer 10% off for military, nurse, police. So just let me know if that's you. And when you're ready to sign up, I'll give you a discount code. All right, friends, keep on moving, one step at a time.